Yeah, Hideo, after getting up to, after legitimately just buying some groceries, for the road, because he knows we'll be back on that here pretty soon, after buying some groceries, he slinks off to a small theater. The shadows casted are long over him as he looks to both sides before entering. He takes a step inside and kind of looks over each of the seats, and then he looks over one of his notes, and it's basically like, let's see, okay, should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, front row. All right, and he kind of closes up the note, plops it into his coat, and goes over to the chair, examines it briefly before sitting.
And as you sit down pretty swiftly, you hear a very familiar greeting, as suddenly a voice rings around from behind the corner. There are many moons in spring.
An eagle among the mice.
He stands for a moment, a figure from behind the wall. Welcome home, Kyosuke.
Father.
I assure you that there are no pesky rats or bats or otherwise in this establishment. I hope you didn't lead any rodents in as you entered yourself.
I was not followed.
Phew. Well, that clears it up a little bit, I guess. Saying that, the figure stepping from behind a dark corner just kind of steps out, and rather unassuming, actually. He steps up and kind of stumbling down. It's not ungraceful, but it's certainly rather plainly. He just kind of crawls off the stage, steps down, and just moves over and takes a seat on the chairs. Well, seems like it's been a while.
Yeah, well, I must admit this job has really gotten away from me.
I can tell. What is it? What are you calling yourself now? Hideo Fumikaze? Legendary swordsman? Champion of the gods?
It was
Slayer of... I imagine. I doubt you do this on purpose. Doesn't seem like you. Doesn't seem quite up your speed, quite your fashion, your style, you know?
No. You should take this a little more seriously, Dad.
We're alive.
Yeah, but this is big. Hideo gets up out of the seat and starts just being like exaggerate with big exaggerated motions, like really big, like way bigger than it should be. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I just
Go, take a seat, it's fine. I know it's a pretty big responsibility and things are certainly out of hand, and I can see on your face that you are quite done with all of this.
Father, I have aged 3 years I'm losing time in my life. Every day I have to deal with it.
Oof. Now, the Yoshihara family is an esteemed family, and I'm sure that Mr. Junya has been all but kind to you.
No, Junya's fine. I actually quite like Junya. It's just like the stress of having to make people believe that I am half as good as they believe that I am.
He there. Yo, come on. He gives you a pat on the shoulder. You see, if you're wondering why I'm so calm right now, because I've got a lot of stress too. And at a certain point in your life, you kind of reach a peak. That was me about 20 years ago. Similar situation as yours. And you're stuck in a situation in which you honestly can't get out without just going straight ahead. And trust me, if there was an alternate way around, I would have found it by now.
Maybe I could fake my death.
If you fake your death, that'll just cause more problems. You're such a public figure, people know your face now. If anyone saw you again, it'd just be even bigger. A return to life. Hideo Fumikaze cheats death. Don't you see?
So what do I do? Am I stuck being Hideo Fumikaze forever?
He thinks a bit. I've been looking into a few things. He kind of chipper gives you a smile. You have noticed how many of our associates have been following you around now, right?
Yes.
I have one in every town.
Yes, and I'm surprised that nobody else has noticed.
Well, that's because we have our best out there. And, of course, we have just about anyone. We're going to keep doing our part to keep you in touch. We're gathering information. We actually have a leak inside of that Squid Gods organization, too.
Really?
Yes,
it wasn't
we do.
Saiko, was it?
No, not him.
Okay. Because we killed him.
Oh. You see his face, he suddenly loses his lax perspective as he suddenly goes more close to his pog, rather serious. If you killed Saiko the Duelist, that means things are just going to get a lot harder. You're in a tricky situation right now, son. I know you know that, though. However, we are taking a look into things. I don't believe that this is going to end in your death or any sort of unfortunate circumstances, so long as we play our cards right.
Oh, good for you.
Listen, I've been thinking about this quite a lot. I've been trying to look into different ways to sneak you out, do anything I can. Now, he kind of slips back into that lax perspective. Look, the rivalries back in the capital have been kind of sparking up a little more. The government has been getting a lot more testy with the Squid God, cracking down on a lot of different areas, especially after all these incidents of sabotage and enemies being snuck into the city. Just a week ago, we actually had a case of that.
What happened?
Do you remember how you reported back to us about a tall woman, about 8 to 9 feet tall?
God, yeah, she scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, well, she was here.
How?
We're not quite sure. We did have someone keeping watch over the Jellyfish Swordsman, which is where she went. We've been keeping watch of all the family members of any of the, assembled group of heroes that you're a part of, and it seems that they've got someone rather skilled on intrigue on their end. I'm worried about the sake of our information leakage. He might find it soon and plug it up. But, regardless, I do have some information that might be valuable for you.
Wait,
such as...
Sho's dad was killed?
No. He vanished.
Oh. That's bad.
Oh, that is very bad. I don't believe anyone's been informed of her yet, at least. At last I checked, no one's been sent out.
To my knowledge, she is currently on her way over there.
He taps his head and kind of scratches it a bit. Well, that'll be a piece of information that'll... He, contemplates again. He looks over to just the side of the room a bit. Can someone go take care of that? And just someone moves from behind one of these curtains, which actually conceals a kind of movable wall, as someone kind of starts moving forward to try to keep watch over Sho and what's going on. He turns back again. Look, things have been going rather crazy right now with politics, and the situation of the organization itself. And we've been having our hands tied, but I've still devoted the most I can, because, as I see it right now, you, just as you always been, are something of our shining star right now. This hell of an operation that's gone wrong has somewhat tipped around to the other end of things, I think. I see great potential in what we could do now, and perhaps a way that you could assure yourself a healthy, long retirement after this, with legal tender, and perhaps do more for the clan by doing nothing than running around and almost getting your head chopped off.
A shining star among a clan of informants doesn't sound very good.
He kind of smiles at you at that. Now, don't go underselling us that much. He kind of pulls out a little note. This is what you sent us that day of. After you left that town, an update on all the affairs. Now, of course, it's been quite interesting. We've looked into a few things, such as Yuko's connections, and we've been able to find a few ties, even to some foreign agents. But I'll write you up a better report of that later. I think the important thing for me right now is this. He goes down and puts down the singular promissory note, a thing you mentioned. You had mentioned a while back that the rat god had promised something. A blank check, essentially. He points that out to you. This is confirmable. The rat god truly did say this to you?
Yeah.
He gave you his word?
Yeah. As far as I know.
Well, if he said this, I do believe he intends to keep that promise. The rat god is a mischievous, lying bastard, but in terms of these matters, he knows who to watch out for, and if you successfully do manage to kill that god... Now, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, all I gotta do is kill a god. Easy.
All you have to do is be around when the god is killed. You have a lot of very powerful associates, and your skills are made for not getting in the direct line of combat. You are our fifth shadow.
If I could just get behind him.
You might get the opportunity. But, regardless, I believe that it's going to be impossible to hide your reputation any longer. So, instead of attempting to hide things any further, I've just decided to embrace this. Embrace this reality of you being Hideo Fumikaze. Now, what this will mean is that we'll be able to support you a bit more openly, and hopefully fund this effort so that you start seeing more positives of your fame. The idea is to succeed, or at least get close to succeeding, so that you'll be able to rise within the ranks, at which point, now it might be a little strange to say, I could adopt you back into the family, and then you would be Hideo Kisaragi, at which point, well...
And what happens to Kyosuke? From a public-facing front.
Kyosuke hasn't been seen for about a year or two now. I fear the worst for him. He is my son, after all. Perhaps, as a grieving father, I will adopt a new son. Though, all of that is just a public image. I do wish to see you back in the house. The only thing your mother yells more about than finances is about what you're up to, and, quite frankly, I am worried myself as well. Though I will not play favorites, obviously. As you are aware, I'll do my best, and I do my best because you are a great asset to this clan, and a bit because you are also my son. He kind of makes a concession, makes all that, but I do have an invested interest in seeing this plan succeed.
Yeah.
Gotta smiles again. So line up, Hideo, come on, it's fine. We're all good. Everything will be fine. You're quite competent. And all your friends seem pretty good too. But
we need more than quite competent.
I'm sure we'll find that. I'd like to switch subjects real quick though, because this is still kind of grating on my head. You killed Saiko. The Scholar Blade. It's a good thing I decided to go with this plan, because jeez, if I didn't, it would have... Oh.
Yeah, we got him a few days ago.
Well, I can make that work. I think in a couple of weeks, there will be some performances about the legendary deeds of Hideo Fumikaze and his efforts to defeat Saiko. That is, if you would simply tell me. It wasn't in your letter, though. I think you sent it before you left. We haven't heard from you for a week.
Yeah, well, been a little busy.
Of course.
Well, so here's what happened. So I get up on stage.
He claps his hands together. Oh, a performance from my son. It's been so long.
Believe me, a lot of other aspects to what we do. My acting isn't getting rusty.
He kind of moves over a bit to the side, and then takes a seat on this far chair here. Come on, sit on the pillow. You know you wanna.
Alright. Hideo produces a fan out from under his coat. So, where do we begin? It all started a few days ago. We had gotten word where Saiko's his hidden mountain keep was, and after a small amount of hiking, it wasn't really mountainous. I guess that's just misinformation. But there was a hill. There was probably 2 hills. In any case, there was no road. We had to track him, and we were able to find a dirt trail, lots of footprints. I sat there and used all of my training to guide us down towards the secret keep. We'd camped out above it overnight, just kind of keeping an eye on things, looking at how everything was moving, before we made our way down the very next morning. Still darkened, not quite dawn just yet, but we made our way in. I snuck in ahead, of course. Looking back and forth, Hideo sort of sneaks in, laying low to the ground, sort of using his arms to kind of pull him forward before he reaches this little area. He doesn't see anyone around. He sort of hops up into like a frog position, and he does a quick little whistle that is very reminiscent of the hoot of an owl.
The signal?
Yes, a signal indicating to the others that they should follow in suit. Junya sort of slithers on in.
Hideo. A fine morning.
My lord, we must be quiet. There are enemies about.
Good. I desire to taste them.
There will be time for that later. For now, we have to just make sure that everybody makes it in. Oh, there's Sho.
And suddenly, emerging inside, Sho also enters.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
Terrifying. With almost an unsteady creak, like a metal door left off of its hinges, Sho walks in. So, what's the plan, guys? We gonna cut 'em up?
Holy fuck.
Wow, these guys are crazy. They're all so quick to kill. I thought to myself, and then it wasn't long after that we were spotted. Or at least, I thought we would be, because Buru just crashed through the whole door. Buru, we need to be quieter.
If they hear us, we'll lose our element of surprise. So keep it down, okay? Good, have a Buru snack.
Yes. Hush your voice unless you want me to nibble on those horns.
Let me scout ahead. And so I did. I moved ahead stealthily.
Oh, in that case, you would hear it on the other side. Shifting, skimmering forms. No, those aren't humans. Those are something else. Demons.
I guess it makes sense that the squid god would be employing monsters like these. Luckily, I have some monsters of my own.
You look over at Buru, who is eating a log like a corn on the cob.
You catch sight of their ambush before they launch it. They're sitting here, hearing Buru, these assembly of horrible beasts all sitting there.
When they come around the corner, we'll jump them. Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Oh, I think they think I know I'm here. Damn it, Buru. It's okay, though. I know what to do. And at that point, Hideo sort of looks through the thin paper walls and reveals from inside his coat, shing, a shuriken. And so he sort of like arcs his he sort of arcs his arm back and throws it upward, flying past the first three and hitting this one square in the head, but like the back of the head, into making them sort of like look in this direction.
All right, yeah. This one over here, just suddenly, bah! And then goes down, and they're all like, huh? What was that? And they all kind of scamper around, looking behind them. Who was that? Must have been on the other side of the camp.
Now, guys!
Junior's neck, like, whips around an uncomfortable amount to look straight at Sho. I smell blood. Shall we do it like old times? He strokes her face like a creepo.
Her head creaks to the side like old times.
Totally inexplicably, with no warning, fucking Junior just bursts out of this guy's chest.
Yeah! No!
In the background, Sho has picked up a large rock and throws it at this man.
What a monster! It's like, this one goes down. 2 monsters! Boss! My god! The monsters, they're here! Ha! But they're fools that they think they can defeat us, the Demon Corps!
The one on the left suddenly gets pulled underground as Buru appears. Me a mole!
Another one! You! I'll take you! He runs over, sprinting over, his body kind of moving a bit strange, then suddenly leaps up and goes down for a chop.
Buru takes out his Tetsubo and holds it in like a baseball bat position as this bad guy starts running. And in like 3 frames, he swings his bat, sending this guy off flying in another direction.
Ah! He slams into the pile of woods and then just like falls inside of it. You see his legs poking out a bit comedically.
Good swing, Buru!
Buru,
I surrender! I surrender! I give up!
Buru disappears in his hole.
Oh no! Please! Please! I surrender! I give up! Don't you get it?
No safety for demons.
Surrender? That's strange. I know a lot of words, and that's not one of them.
Now, Sho!
Sho throws another rock. It's the same animation as the earlier rock.
It just impacts in the back and it goes "Katoy!" and he falls to the ground. Dead? Maybe.
And so Hideo rushes forward now that he's distracted by the rock, and he does the classic samurai thing. And when the blade makes contact in the animation cell, the screen goes black, and there's just a tearing of blood that spews out. Now that motherfucker's dead.
Holy shit! The That guy's strong!
Holy shit! Junya takes his, like, the naginata tip of his parasol and just casually thrusts it into the side of this guy's head while not even looking at him. It's like 2 seconds of no animation and then just like unreasonable amount of blood.
The body slumps over a bit and the tiny little face inside peeks over. You need to stab me too!
Oh, gross. Steps on it.
Buru appears from beneath, eating it.
With that, you stand. The demon's defeated, but another path ahead. Hideo. I believe it's got enough fantastical elements to be good. You certainly are the most courageous and brave person. However, you should put a bit more heroics into it. I obviously don't care what actually... Well, I do, but I'll get that right up later. But you can feel free to exaggerate your exploits slightly. You are a legendary swordsman, after all. I mean, the slash was very cool, but I think taking on some more enemies next time. You've shown your cunning and stealth, so the audience will naturally be expecting you to be brave now, too.
But I'm telling you, these guys are real killers.
Well, that may be true. I think you've stressed that enough, and you can keep stressing that. But you should also be something of a killer yourself, but a noble killer. That's what the people like, after all. They like their heroes noble, but also savage for some reason. He scratches his head. Regardless, please continue. You continued on inside past that point?
I don't get it. All right. Yeah, and so we kept going into further deeper into the camp of the we kept going deeper, and you really took the wind out of my sails, Dad.
Sorry, son.
So we moved on deeper into the camp of the dangerous Saiko, and it was only once we had finally seen the full breadth of the keep sitting there on the horizon did we realize, oh no, we're surrounded.
And surrounded you are, as suddenly, from all of these tents spill out more demons!
Unbelievable. When did they get behind us?
There's more than... more.
That's a number. Have another Buru snack.
Yeah.
I'll handle this.
I don't give a shit.
I'll handle these. And so Hideo starts rushing forward, just tearing and slashing through all of them. Again, another ridiculous amount of animation attention is paid to the gore as Hideo slices through this one, and then and pulls the sword out from that end and just stabs this one through the middle of the head, brain matter spewing out the path.
This guy's a monster, and we're demons! You're next, bitch! This one runs up and tries to claw at you with its big claws.
Not so fast, bastard! And Hideo reaches forward and then slashes the guy's fingernails off. Not like in half, but like off, and you can see blood spewing out from the holes left where they were.
No! My beautiful fingernails!
You're weak now, and then he smashes the butt of his sword into the eye of the enemy.
Yeah, the eye pops, and just it's terrible to look at as you bring it down and smash into him.
And then once that one's down, he falls back really quick, only like 2 frames this time, and then he jumps forward and slices through all 3 of these like it's nothing.
He does so, landing after the fire. They all just burst, their heads flying off, and a geyser of blood spilling all around the campsite.
Hideo's so strong.
Impressive as always.
Oh, it's almost hard to look away from.
These
Behind you, guys!
get him!
Don't-
While Hideo is distracted, we'll kill the rest!
Hey, I'll soak the hits for you. Whoa, hey.
They start charging in. their multiple teeth and claws piercing in, attempting to tear away at the flesh of their opponents.
This one charges at Sho, but in a second it's lifted up over her head. The animation of this is actually pretty impressive. For some reason he bursts into flames while held aloft, and she dramatically throws him. He detonates.
Junya, this one runs up and like sinks its weird, I don't know, fang, claw, whatever things into him. And as his head does the uncomfy snap around again, and his eyes are drawn super fucked up for like one frame. He's like, eh! And then he just like places a hand on each side of this creature and goes, yeah! And just like rips it in half.
Buru is easily being overwhelmed because he could not soak these hits for you. Now he's gonna die.
I've got it! But I gotta get close enough, because that's the way that you fight honorably. He runs up, slashes this one with a sword, he just falls over, no blood, no nothing.
It makes that little like sound.
He like jumps over to this side and kicks this guy back. Not lethally, just kicks him back away from Buru. And then he reaches forward and he puts his sword in the sheath for a moment and whispers a quick prayer, and then he pulls the sword out and in a forward arcing motion, the sort of like the supersonic wave of the blade flies out and forms the wings of a hawk as it smashes into this guy, cutting him in half.
That's amazing.
Buru! You can get the last one.
Buru try. Buru runs over, and this is where like the money shot is. Oddly, it's just him wrapping his hands around this thing's head and slowly squeezing. It's like really long and uncomfortable, but hey, that's 70s gore anime for you.
It pops. The demons are dead, but the castle remains up front, and you see the figure standing off the edge over there, gazing down. Welcome. I am Saiko, and this.
We're gonna send you to hell.
I like the tree you see you try, fucker.
He used our second fuck. Oh.
Ooh, you're going to eat that shit.
Sho walks forward and lights up a cigarette and hands one to everyone else too.
Buru immediately eats it.
Sho looks, it's drugs. This is elaborated
I can
on.
feel my power growing with these drugs.
No, I don't need this. I don't need drugs. I've got the spirit inside. And Hideo crushes the cigarette between his hands.
That's
and
drugs.
lifts it up, and it flies, like the ashes fly off as he looks forward. I'm gonna need to take this one seriously. I can already tell. That previous fight really got me warmed up. Now I'm gonna get real into it. He starts walking forward. A transformation sequence begins as he turns like part bird, part man.
Powerful. Come on in then. See if you can defeat my greatest general yet. He says, disappearing back into his balcony, as inside you take steps forward, moving on inside. Hey, what are you about to do?
Huh?
You're turning into a bird?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I just thought it was like, it was a little more toyetic, and it was like symbolic of the struggle that I was going through.
Quite right. I think that would be a good...
Too much?
I think for the common people, a bit too much. I don't think they'd get it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah,
leave
that's fine.
that
But I like the idea you're going with. You should substitute it for... have you made a secret technique or something yet? We made like a
all of my techniques are secret, Dad.
I mean, like, the kind of hidden secret technique you tell to everyone. The fake kind.
Yeah, the kind of secret technique everyone knows about.
You know. The showman technique kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. A fucking ton of those. Like, I don't even... Like, I make up one every single time I use it.
Yeah, you should... You should, see if you can think up one that you can make permanent, just so that everyone knows they can say, oh yes, Hideo's great, blah, 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 technique or something or other. You know?
Ugh. Then I'd have to be consistent, and if I'm consistent, I'm predictable.
Only one. You never actually have to use it. Everyone will be waiting for you to use it, but then you'll never actually do it. It's like holding a trump card that doesn't exist in your pocket.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I can come up with one.
Alright, well, anyways, continue. You go inside of the pagoda?
No, not yet. There was the lion guy.
Oh, okay. Wait, what?
Ha ha! It's me, Lionel Johnson!
Oh, boy.
No, that's a bad name. I'm not gonna go with that. And no, so like both of his... this lion was weird. He was like, "It's me, Drill Lion."
It's me,
Drill
Lion.
And like both of his hands were drills. It was that always kept spinning, and he also had one on his head, and he had this big, huge mane of hair, and so I didn't turn into a bird. I didn't do that, and so instead I stood there, ready to stand and fight, and I saw that he had those drills, and what did I do? Oh yeah, that's right. He stepped forward, and for some reason, all he could really say was like, "Drill." and like they just kept going, and I saw that his drills, they moved clockwise in such a fast motion, and that's when I unleashed my technique, the spinning blade. But normally my spinning blade technique goes like forward as well. It also goes clockwise, yeah. But this time I had to make it go backwards, so I switched hands. And I drew my sword, and I began spinning it in the palm of my hand as quickly as I could, facing directly forward, like a drill, but in reverse.
He goes in, attempting, and then he makes contact with your spinning blade technique.
Oh no, he's got two drills! But I've only got one sword, so I took out my arquebus and shot him in the head.
Hey, Hideo!
What?
That's... He just, like, puts his hand to his head. That's... In some circles...
That's kind...
That's
kind... It's heroic enough. Like, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
I used what I had.
Yes, but it's an anticlimax. People are expecting you to reverse his drill rotation and break them or something with your swords.
No. So that's the thing. I just used my shot. I couldn't reload for when I fought Saiko.
Okay, but this can't kill him. You have to defeat him normally, but you can, you know.
Yeah, all right. So I shot him in the gallbladder or something instead. So I've got my left hand facing forward, spinning my sword as fast as I can to counteract the speed of his drills, and then I reached into my pocket and pulled out a shuriken. No, that's too ninja. I stomped on his foot.
How about you pull out a second sword?
I kicked him in the dick. Dad, whose story this isn't good enough for? Fine. I pulled out another sword, and then I used that one as well. And I wasn't fast enough for his drills. I didn't know what to do. He really had me on the ropes until I figured out exactly what I could do. I'm
imagining a shot where, like, the camera is facing straight towards Hideo, and he thrusts both his palms forward, and his swords are just like spinning up against his palms completely inexplicably.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Dad, should I be on the right?
Right?
You know, in Kabuki theater. Good guy's always on the right.
That's true, that's true. Very well. Let's see. Can you just, let's see if you can,
Yeah, and so, I found my way around him. My technique was flawless, but unfortunately, I just couldn't keep up with the machinery that was in the drill lion's attacks. So, instead of going against them, I decided to go with them. And so then Hideo stops, sparks flying off of the sword against the speed of the drill, and then he begins spinning it the other direction, causing his drills to go faster and faster and faster. That's right, you weren't ready for this. And then Hideo pulls the sword up, having gone faster and faster than ever, faster than his drill sword technique had ever gone before. And then he lifts the sword up and he tries to go for a head attack, able to drill the end of the sword through his head, but his drill catches it. What am I gonna do? And so he's got one-armed sword contending against both of his arm drills, and then another armed, and then the other sword going against the drill on his head.
The third arm comes into frame.
I've only got 2 arms. Oh, but I've got it. And then Hideo just completely lets go of the lower sword, reaches up, and punches him in the face. He punches him in the face, causing him to go to the side. And then Hideo, taking advantage of that last movement, reaches forward and slashes down through his arms, causing his drill hands to fall off into the ground.
His blood just starts pouring out of this mechanical part, and he's just like, you bastard!
The evil you've inflicted upon the land is no more. I'll let you live, but without your drill arms. Hardly a life worth living, I think you'll find. Hideo turns around to get back with his friends.
He looks at his stumpy arms, and then looks up, and his face grows angry. The drill on his head starts drilling, and he's like, you turned your back, you idiot!
And then Hideo goes, "Tisk, you fool," and Hideo just suddenly, whoosh, nice try. It appears behind him and just cuts him in half,
straight
like
down,
diagonally.
Yeah. His body slides into 2 parts as he hits the floor.
And as he hits the floor, Hideo takes a step forward as he puts his sword away. He sheathes the sword with a click, and as the click goes off, there is a not a blood and guts explosion, but like a fiery explosion.
Oh, God.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and then that was before he came back and he turned giant.
Hang on. That's quite fine. I think that's quite enough for him. I think half the story has been about this one man so far. We still have the main attraction, Saiko.
Yeah, Saiko came out of the window and he said, "Make them grow!" and he came back as if he wasn't ever hurt at all. And he was like giant. And then I called
your father stares at you.
I called Falcon Robo.
Hideo.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's too much.
Too much. You're doing good, though. Now, the next step is very important. I imagine if you're going to kill this legendary swordman, you don't want to mix messages on him. He should probably just be a total scumbag.
Oh, yeah. He was a real cheat.
Well, then, continue.
And so, as we made it inside, we looked very carefully for any sign of Saiko, except for Buru, who went to go eat all of his food.
Sho picks up this bloody meat cleaver.
Julia picks up the hot tongs from the fire.
Buru's mouth opens wide enough to catch the entire table and then just slides all of the contents into his mouth.
Yeah.
He's chewing, and as he speaks, you could see tiny little specks on the outside whenever he's talking.
Shit!
And so, I went ahead and sliced through the doors. Whoosh. All right, guys, we need to be alert. We still don't know what kind of bullshit he might be hiding in here.
You see him under the table.
Oh, you saw me, didn't you?
He kind of rolls out, slides across, tossing a knife at you from that concealed position.
I was going to ambush and kill you, but it seems I can't. So you'll just have to steal with me in person. My name is Saiko the Serpent.
Here in the flesh. Well, it's a good thing you stopped me from having to go through the trouble of finding you. Show him what we can do.
I would be happy. She takes this step forward, lifting the meat cleaver high, and then picks up a rock and throws it at him.
Oh, what happens, Mr. Narrator?
And so, as Sho threw him off with her clever feint, the rock smashed him in the head, and he fell unconscious.
Oh shit!
Yeah, then I went up and stabbed him. Right?
Hideo, that's
underwhelming.
a bit, yes.
I don't know how to storytell.
You can't spend 15 minutes fighting the second to last
you
guy
can't-
and then 1 minute fighting the last guy.
Yeah, you fought the Tiger Man for about 15 minutes. He went down.
I'm an actor, not a director.
I understand. Well,
All right.
Yeah.
Let's cut back. I'll redo. Junior, attack!
Yeah, he like runs into the room waving his arms like a lunatic with the hot tongs in one hand. Time for you to eat shit, fatty!
he goes up, raising his arms up, and he grabs your arms. And with that, he managed to defeat your compatriot. And Hideo's dad just starts talking over the narration.
What?
I'm sure at this point he defeats your compatriot, shoves him to the side, knocks him against the symboled weaponry in the corner, and then, using his squid's power, blocks you off from your companions, leaving it...
Oh no!
Motherfucker!
I like to, so it's like, he doesn't even like actually hit Junior, he just like kind of baps him, so he staggers off course, wangs into this, and then is like, like, collapses to the floor, and a bunch of these arrows fall into him.
Yeah.
Blood streaming out of his mouth.
I'm gonna have to fight you one-on-one, it seems.
That you will, and I'm a cheap bastard.
He pulls out 2 guns.
What a cheap bastard!
He aims them forward and fires at you.
Ugh! And I got shot. Is that good? Is it good for me to get okay, you know what? I got shot, and I went on and I kept fighting despite getting shot. And I went in and I used the fact that he shot me at point blank range to throw him off guard somehow. And it was at that point that I saw the opening in his gun stance.
The opening in my gun
And so I stabbed him.
You stab him, he stumbles back. He drops his guns. There's a bleeding hole in his chest.
Pretty good.
He reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a knife and scurries over.
I'll stab him, you know.
There's exactly a split second of leftover footage from when this was still a giant robo of Sho back on white base going, Hideo, and then it cuts.
no! And then I took my bow and arrow out, and I shot him. I hit him. I hit him square on with an arrow. And I could swear that as the arrow pierced his chest, I could hear caw of a falcon.
He stumbles back and hits the table and kind of falls. And then, despite these spears being turned the other way, they turn around and impale him like 12 times as he falls and gets lifted off the ground. And the blood and like intestines and stuff is just hanging off the spear ends all gruesomely.
And then, he said, You bastard. Justice will never win. And he fell over onto the red-hot poker that Junya had brought out, which caused him to start bursting into flames. I rushed over to get Junya. I picked him up. Are you okay, buddy?
And Junya gets pulled to his feet, and he is just like comically covered in a shitload of blood, but he just has a completely stoic grimace and looks like, I'm fine.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a flesh wound.
The fire begins spreading through the paper fort.
Guys, we gotta go! And I smashed through the door with Junya in tow. Let's get out of here.
You said it.
And as we left the burning castle, we could see that it was now the dawn of a new day. And so everybody's walking off, and you can see the silhouettes of them beyond the burning castle, and you could see the sun finally starting to rise.
And Junya no longer has any blood on him, obviously.
Yeah, everybody's good now.
Now.
You too, buddy. You too. Yeah, I could probably use some work.
Maybe.
But
That's the general gist of it, though. I think you did quite fine. It's been a while. And
yeah, no, I definitely kicked him in the dick.
oh, ooh. He contemplates for a bit. Right then, well, I can get that working.
Not like in the story, but like when we fought him.
I'm okay. That's fair. He thinks a bit, and then he's just like, all right. He looks down. He was taking notes, actually, and he kind of, we'll get that going then. I can whip something up out of that for sure. And I'm...
Yeah, that'll be pretty good, I guess.
I guess so. He goes and plops a piece of paper on the table as well. That's a list of all the information, by the way.
Oh, okay. And he's back into business mode.
Yeah. As you pick it up, you notice that he does smile a bit. It was nice, though, you know. Kyo.
Huh. That's not my name anymore. He says, kind of frustrated.
Well, at least for a little longer. He kind of steps back. Besides, I just wanted to say one more time, since I finally wanted to just make you aware that you finally loosened up a bit.
Huh?
You had fun telling that story. I feel like the bad guy for interrupting your fun.
I mean, it wasn't anything super special. It was just, mostly embarrassing, he says, blushing.
He goes and pats you on the back. Still, you did great. And I know you will continue doing great things. You are, after all, the prodigal son of our entire family.
Yeah.
I don't... I worry about the situations we find ourselves. I worry about the troubles that might face you. I don't worry about your ability to handle them.
Well, that makes one of us.
He, smiles again, and then just kind of goes back to serious. You should probably get going, though, now. I need to open up the theater.
Yeah, and I need to get these groceries back to the group. See you later, Dad.
See you later. Hideo.
Right.
He steps back, once again dodging back behind the wall and very, very silently just disappears again. So you begin making your steps out.
And so, as Hideo reaches the front door, he just sort of sighs for a second. All the life in his eyes gone. And he sort of breathes in, closes his eyes, and opens the door. Hello, world!
Master,